Currently, it is difficult to maintain the vitality of youth, with only the duration of old age remaining. Although we often hear that we are in the era of centenarians, not everyone will reach 100 years. Nowadays, the life expectancy of older adults in our country is between 80 and 90 years. However, the challenge arises after 80, when the course of life undergoes significant changes. At this age, physical condition tends to deteriorate, arm strength decreases considerably, and simple activities like lifting small objects or holding a remote control can become complicated tasks. It's as if a huge barrier between life and death suddenly strikes us, like a powerful wave. In that moment, we try to lament too late, but at 80, no matter how hard we try, recovery becomes complicated. Therefore, it is essential to start taking care of our health from the age of 60, or at the latest in our 70s, to fully enjoy old age. So, what can we do to prepare for this stage of life after 60? Today, I will talk about the key factors that influence the quality of life in old age. The first key point is the tendency to compare ourselves to others. This trend is like a shortcut to personal dissatisfaction. Comparing yourself to someone 50 years old about to retire doesn't bring any value. Thinking about how others have managed to acquire a large house while feeling that you haven't achieved big goals, or regretting not having chosen a job that offered a secure pension for a smooth life, only intensifies feelings of uselessness and nourishes discontent with the social system. The least advisable thing is trying to make up for lost time by investing in high-risk projects or businesses. Although life expectancy has increased, reaching 50 marks a phase where we begin to enjoy the results of past efforts, it's no longer the ideal time to start from scratch. Of course, it's possible to take on new challenges or embark on different adventures at this age, but a setback could leave little time to recover. It's also important to consider that our vitality is no longer what it once was. It's wise to adjust challenges and exciting experiences to what we can truly handle, whether in financial aspects, energy levels, or family relationships. Instead of measuring ourselves against others, we should focus on appreciating and feeling gratitude for who we are and for everything we have in the present. The second key point is resource management. Once retirement arrives and regular income disappears, it becomes essential to rely on savings or assets to cover daily expenses. One option could have been to request a reverse mortgage, using the home as collateral. However, as resources diminish, uncertainty increases, and concerns arise about whether it's wise to leave a property as an inheritance for children. Even so, if we decide to use all our assets and focus on living fully without worrying about what we leave behind, we can enjoy life to the fullest while we are here. As the saying goes, enjoy the fruit and leave the seeds. Instead of accumulating assets without using them, we should focus on making the most of them. Of course, some may worry about what would happen if resources run out before our life ends, but this does not mean wasting them, but living fully. If we leave behind the obsession with accumulating wealth and opt for a simpler life, in most cases, we will reach the end of our days without great difficulties. The third key element influencing the quality of old age is learning not to fear loneliness. Some people feel the constant need to be surrounded by others because they find it difficult to be alone. However, in superficial connections, emotional emptiness persists, and often, even within a group, the feeling of isolation can intensify. This emptiness often leads to an even greater longing for companionship. However, by finding calm in moments of solitude and dedicating them to introspection, the hum of loneliness gradually fades, leaving space for a feeling of fullness and gratitude for what one has, which helps strengthen self-confidence. A unique way of thinking develops, independent of external influences, and one begins to experience a singular and different life. Sciascia, who lost her husband and became a widow before others, was not isolated. She maintained discreet connections with several people, such as the chef at her favorite restaurant and her gym trainer. Although she rarely shared her deepest thoughts, these careful relationships, with just the right distance, contributed to her maturity and became an essential support that balanced her life. As we age, the most relevant thing is the person we are at this moment and the actions we choose to take today. Establishing small connections with the environment, such as walking the dog or watching children head to school, may be more than enough. A fourth crucial aspect to enjoying old age is letting go of the belief that weight loss is necessary. The 60s represent a significant stage in preserving a healthy body. During middle age, preventing metabolic syndrome was an essential goal for health, but after 60, due to the effects of aging, muscle mass begins to decrease. Reducing appetite can also lead to malnutrition. Believing that losing weight is beneficial could lead to sarcopenia in the 70s or 80s, resulting in a general decline in physical abilities and difficulties moving around. If we continue down this path, there will come a time when we will depend on others for care. If we want to maintain our independence, walk on our own, and enjoy delicious meals even at the age of 90, we need to rethink our mindset by the time we reach 60. Instead of focusing on losing weight to avoid metabolic syndrome, we should prioritize increasing muscle mass as a measure to fight aging. There is a simple method to check if muscle mass is insufficient. Form a circle with the thumb and index finger of both hands and place them around the widest part of your calf. If the fingers don't meet, it indicates that you have an adequate amount of muscle. However, if they touch or overlap, you may have a muscle deficiency, which requires attention to prevent accelerated aging. By the time you turn 60, keeping your legs strong becomes more crucial than ever. Maintaining them healthy requires regular exercise and adequate protein intake, both essential for healthy aging. The fifth point is that, to ensure everyone's well-being, it's necessary to stop overly focusing on the children. There's a disturbing joke that illustrates 3 situations in which grandparents die because of their children. If wealthy parents ignore children asking for help, they might die from blows. If they offer some money, they could die from the constant pressure of asking for more, and if they give everything, they might die from hunger. This joke reflects a critique of reality, pointing out that an obsession with leaving assets to children can bring unhappiness to both parents and children. To avoid this tragedy, it is wise to clearly communicate from the beginning that there is no inheritance to leave, so that children abandon financial expectations. Providing children with help to marry, offering them a home, and continuing to support them after their marriage does not always reflect true love. Instead, it can become an obstacle that hinders their autonomy. By trying to keep children dependent until financial resources are depleted and health is affected, children may perceive the support from their parents as a burden, which would create a sense of betrayal in the parents. Although parents would have given everything for love, in the end, they lose both their money and their well-being, and the relationship with their children cools down. This will be a painful moment for everyone. To prevent this situation, it's recommended to define in advance the moment when financial support for the children will stop, for example, after they finish their university studies or get married. It is also useful to convert assets into pensions, which will ensure a monthly income to facilitate economic independence, even in the later years. While giving large amounts of money to children in times of difficulty may lead to ruin, a pension that provides a basic income for living is a more suitable option. The sixth factor that influences the quality of old age is placing more importance on proper posture than on physical exercise. According to our daily habits, we may unknowingly develop abnormal curvatures in our back, knees may twist, or our waist may bend. Even if someone walks to stay active, poor posture can harm the knees and back, limiting joint movement. Therefore, it is essential to regularly check our posture. A proper posture is characterized by a gentle curve in the spine and neck when viewed from the side. It is advisable to stand in front of a full-length mirror to evaluate the posture from both the front and the side. It is also beneficial to perform the exercise of standing with your back against a wall. If, when placing your heels against the wall, neither your back nor the back of your head touches it, it indicates that your posture is leaning forward. One reason for poor posture is muscle weakness. Before moving on, remember to like if you're enjoying the video, and subscribe to the channel to receive the best advice on how to attract abundance and prosperity into your life. Let's continue. If we get used to carrying the bag on the same shoulder or sitting in the same way, our habits may cause our posture to become misaligned. Let's take advantage of moments of rest to consciously correct our posture and eliminate those bad habits. Improving our posture also contributes to a better appearance. It seems like you look great. People who maintain a remarkable appearance as they age tend to share traits like a balanced weight and an upright posture. By keeping proper posture, our attitude also tends to be more optimistic and dynamic. Lifting the chest, tightening the abdomen, and maintaining that bodily tension generates a greater sense of confidence and energy. It's not enough to exercise for a while and then spend the rest of the day hunched over. It's better to maintain a correct posture throughout the day to live with more vitality. The seventh factor that influences the quality of aging is that, in general, many things in life can be easily forgotten. The 80-20 rule, formulated by the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, suggests that 80% of results come from just 20% of effort, and this same idea applies to our lives. This law, also known as the 20-80 rule, relates to the fact that only 20% of ants are responsible for gathering 80% of the food in their colony. If we look closely at the ants, we notice that not all of them make the same effort. Only a fraction of them works tirelessly, while most remain inactive. It's when the worker ants get tired that the others begin to take on their role. In the end, the number of ants actually working in a colony varies. Similarly, in life, the essence of what constitutes us and makes us who we are is found in that 20%. If we manage to hold on to that 20%, the 80% of our life that we leave behind won't be a major obstacle. Haven't we already lived it? Enjoying a meal at an exclusive restaurant, owning a luxury car, or living in an envious house are not truly essential aspects. These things are part of that 80% that we can easily set aside. Instead, if we have the opportunity to share a meal with family, take a walk on our own, read a good book, or listen to our favorite music in a comfortable setting, then the rest won't matter. If we apply the 20-80 rule to both work and life, we could experience a profound change in our existence. After 60, it should be a time to focus on what really matters. What do you think about what I've shared today? Although aging is commonly associated with deterioration, in reality, the second half of life represents a phase of liberation, when children become independent and we move away from the social spotlight. The experiences accumulated give us the serenity to find our own answers without having to follow the impositions of the world. This is the time when we can truly achieve total freedom. To make the most of this period, we need to give ourselves the space to forgive. It's crucial to have the courage to let go of burdens and forgive small missteps. And if, by seeing ourselves this way, we can bring a smile to others, even better. It's also essential to have a generous heart to forgive both others and ourselves. If something bothers us because of someone else, we must free ourselves from resentment, and when we make mistakes, we should also offer forgiveness to ourselves. It's not advisable to overthink how to achieve happiness. because if we complicate it too much, we might miss the small joys that daily life offers. By moving the body, the heart fills with energy, body temperature rises, and hormones like serotonin, dopamine, and growth hormone are released, all known as happiness hormones. Even with simple physical activity, it's possible to generate a sense of well-being. Planning for a fulfilling old age can be as easy as this: adopting a calm attitude, fearlessly setting aside the superfluous in life, and focusing on toning the thigh muscles and maintaining good overall health. In this way, anyone can enjoy a satisfying old age. It's also important to free ourselves from social judgment. We are no longer in an era where our worth is measured by the university we attended, the company we work for, or the salary we earn. If we've given our best in life, that's what truly matters. We should not be influenced by others' opinions or the prejudices around us. We must live by our own rules. Moreover, there's no need to conform to stereotypes of what it means to be a man or be a woman. It's the time to be authentic, regardless of gender differences. There's no need to try to be a good person. Stop seeking approval from others and focus on being sincere and loyal to yourself. For those who have crossed the halfway mark of their lives in this century, both the mind and body may feel worn out after many struggles. This is the ideal time to transform the way we live. Free yourself from others' expectations, judgments, unnecessary commitments, and relationships that don't add value. Dedicate your time to what truly holds meaning and value for you. If you have strong legs and the ability to let go of the superfluous, the second stage of your life can be a period of well-being and freedom. Finally, I would like to share some valuable advice for life. Below, I offer 10 ways to achieve a fuller and happier life. Start the day with a revitalizing feeling. Interestingly, to feel happiness while we are awake, it is essential to make sure we rest properly in bed. Never forget the importance of a good night's sleep. Seek love. If you have someone who truly loves you, that person will bring you immense happiness. Take care of your well-being. The human body, especially the brain, only functions optimally when it is in good health. Find a physical activity that you enjoy and make it part of your daily routine. Set goals. Even the simplest goals will help you find meaning in life as you accomplish them. Enjoy the satisfaction of achieving each one of your objectives. Build your own sanctuary. Turn your home into a cozy and comforting place, a refuge where you feel safe. Organize a space that inspires tranquility. It could be your bedroom or even the bathroom, as long as it's a place where you can disconnect and relax. Follow your own pace. It's easy to fall into the temptation of taking on too many commitments, but it's better to avoid overload. It's more valuable to enjoy life at a proper pace than to drag an excess of responsibilities. Take time to pamper yourself. Learn to reward yourself when you reach your goals. Even a small gesture for yourself can bring great satisfaction. Spread joy. Making others smile is one of the most rewarding ways to find your own happiness. Gifts given with a generous spirit return to you in the form of greater happiness. Be compassionate. Connect with the concerns and sorrows of others, but make sure not to let their burdens affect you too much. Don't lose the sense of play. As we age, we often forget how valuable play is, but especially when we do it with our partner, it can relieve stress and bring back fun. Although life may present challenges, genuine love is never rejected. The affection of a loved one fills us with hope, and that hope pushes us to face any adversity. Love is what we all need in this world. The more complicated the situations, the more we need love. While each individual has their particular tastes, most people seek someone with a generous heart, yet capable of offering affection. However, in practice, finding such a person is more complicated than being struck by lightning. People who initially seem generous, over time, we find they have a limited heart. Yet, those who truly know how to offer love are unique. They have the ability to transform a simple person into someone brilliant and heal a damaged world. If we learn to share more love, we could be accepted anywhere. The true strength of the world lies in those who offer love, not in those who receive it. Throughout our lives, we all accumulate regrets. If we had known what we know now, would we have had fewer regrets? Those who are 60 or 70 years old, having reached the second stage of life, look back and realize they have regrets in different areas of their journey. It is said that people experience numerous revelations when facing death. Although each life is unique, curiously, the areas of regret are quite similar. It's curious how only when we reach the twilight of our existence do we see our past clearly. Almost no one goes through life without accumulating regrets. As the saying goes, we grow through suffering and difficulties, and eventually grow old. So, what are the deepest regrets of those who have lived longer than us, the guides who provide us with wisdom? Today, I want to share the regrets expressed by people in their 60s and 70s, our life teachers, those who deeply regret some of their decisions. With this message, my wish is that you also reflect on your own journey and face the days ahead with greater happiness. Upon retirement or engaging in recreational activities, more time and resources are often dedicated to self-care. However, after turning 70, when health begins to deteriorate, the costs related to medical care significantly increase. In addition, other common expenses, such as supporting children or those related to family celebrations, can generate economic tension. With the increase in life expectancy, the retirement period is extended, which also requires broader financial planning. There are many ways to invest, such as in the stock market or properties, but during retirement, simply preserving accumulated assets already represents a significant achievement. In other words, savings become everyone's most reliable backup. Instead of risking it all and losing it due to a bad investment, having saved money provides emotional stability and allows for a more relaxed life. Therefore, saving from a young age is essential to avoid significant complications later on. The second aspect is not having been a good companion to your partner. The person with whom you share your life is your partner. Having their company in your 60s or 70s is, in itself, an enormous privilege. Although children are also very important, when you are sick or feeling unwell, the one who truly cares for you and looks after you with sincerity is your partner. As I grow older, I have come to understand that the most valuable thing is having an exceptional life partner. However, we often overlook how significant our spouse is and fall into the mistake of taking them for granted. As the years go by, the one who remains by your side is your partner. Although there is an increase in divorces among the elderly nowadays, these hold a very different meaning compared to separations in youth. As we age, the value of a spouse and family increases, as they are the only people who share every stage of aging with you and give meaning to your life. In youth, there is the possibility of starting a new life with someone else and building a new family after a divorce. However, when this happens at an older age, it becomes much more complicated. In the end, what we are left with is facing old age in solitude. For this reason, it is crucial to make an effort not to regret not having fully appreciated our relationship with our partner and to work together to plan for a fulfilling old age. The third aspect is paying attention to our health. Although we all know how valuable it is, in youth we tend to underestimate it and treat our bodies without much consideration. We only come to realize that small daily habits impact our well-being over time when we can no longer reverse the consequences. We all wish for a long life, but this is only achieved by taking care of our health. Now, does living longer always mean being happy? If someone faces health problems that keep them bedridden, or if by the time they reach old age they have no meaningful activities and spend their days in front of the television, could we call that true happiness? Positive longevity brings joy both to the individual and to their family, while negative longevity causes suffering for the person and represents a considerable burden on their loved ones. What matters is not the length of our life, but the quality with which we live it. To preserve health, it is essential to exercise regularly and adopt proper eating habits. It is important to include a variety of nutrients in our diet, limiting salt intake, and maintaining a balance to avoid both excesses and deficiencies in nutrients through careful control. In this context, paying attention to dental health is particularly relevant, as taking care of teeth requires time and consistency to yield positive results. Adopting a healthy lifestyle is the best way to be ready for old age. Nowadays, where living a long life has become common, we must focus on a longevity free of diseases, rather than one that comes with them. Fourth, not having established friendships with which to share old age. After a partner, friends are one of the most valuable assets. Generally, when we reach adulthood, we focus on work and family, which often weakens our relationships with friends. However, it is important to understand that friends hold a unique value, as they offer an emotional connection distinct from the one shared with family. Having friends with whom we can enjoy hobbies or express our feelings freely can significantly alleviate loneliness in old age and bring great satisfaction to life. People generally recognize the importance of lifelong friends when they are near the end of their existence, but at that point, it is often difficult to reconnect with them. Having friends who stay by your side throughout the years is undoubtedly a great blessing. If you can't find someone compatible among your old friends, an excellent alternative is to meet new people through common interests or volunteer activities. Even if you have a busy schedule, it is essential to make the effort to check on your friends from time to time and spend time with them to strengthen the relationship. When children marry and form their own homes, they often have little time to spend with their parents. If you don't have friends with whom to share your daily life, old age can become quite lonely, and this is something you should not forget. Fifth, not having developed a hobby that can be enjoyed throughout life. Enjoying different recreational activities is not exclusive to the young. It is essential to continue with hobbies even in advanced adulthood. Many people believe that a hobby must be something impressive, which is why they don't try. However, activities such as walking, hiking, listening to music, or reading, which require little or no expense, are excellent options. A study reveals that people over 60 who engage in hobbies experience fewer symptoms of depression and feel more satisfied and healthy. It is said that life satisfaction is high, and in old age, this satisfaction is closely linked to recreational activities. Additionally, various hobbies play an important role in preventing dementia. A professor from the Dementia Clinic at the National University Hospital of Korea points out that the best time to start is when one thinks it is already too late and emphasizes the importance of immediately beginning activities that stimulate the brain. The brain tends to get bored quickly with simple tasks, so it is recommended to engage in activities that offer proper stimulation, such as painting, playing golf in recreational areas, or participating in social dances, rather than monotonous activities like Go Stop, a traditional Korean game. Since hobbies also benefit health, it is advised to start regularly practicing activities that involve both the hands and the mind, even as a preventive measure against dementia. The sixth aspect is stopping learning. As we age, our memory tends to deteriorate, and the brain doesn't function in the same way. "I no longer want to do complex things, do I really need to exert myself mentally at this age?" is a phrase that older people may often say. Based on what they say, it seems logical that, with the passing years, the brain becomes slower, and avoiding complex mental efforts seems the most sensible. However, there are also many people who, despite their age, are motivated by learning and fill their golden years with new acquisitions of knowledge. Studying at 60 or 70 offers the opportunity to pursue studies that couldn't be done in youth due to a busy lifestyle, while also gaining knowledge that will enrich the remaining years. Sometimes, it's just about taking time to read quietly. Nowadays, even people over 70 are learning how to use computers and facing new challenges. According to research by neuroscientists, the human brain has infinite potential, and it is said that we do not utilize even half of its capacity throughout our lives. So, the belief that the brain deteriorates with age is just an excuse we give ourselves. Despite that, we keep looking for reasons to avoid learning new things. However, if we stop to think, we will realize that the life we still have is vast and full of opportunities. After retirement, we must continue living for more than 30 years, and if we don't use that time to learn, we risk leading a stagnant life. In particular, continuing to learn in old age is one of the best ways to care for the brain. The more the brain is used, the younger it stays. For this reason, learning is key to a fulfilling and healthy retirement. In old age, unexpected situations often arise that require large sums of money, especially when it comes to medical expenses. For this reason, planning for pensions and insurance is a responsibility that cannot be postponed. People born in the 1960s have a shorter time to prepare for retirement compared to previous generations, so it is crucial that they consider investment options adapted to the needs of older adults. Safe pension products or low-risk investments are typical examples. As the saying goes, with the national pension, I buy the basics, with the retirement pension, I pay for the extras, and with the private pension, I will live comfortably. To ensure a peaceful retirement, it is essential to have a private pension. While the national and retirement pensions may cover daily needs, having additional private funds is necessary for a full retirement. Additionally, seeking guidance from professionals and creating an appropriate financial plan is an excellent alternative. Retirement planning is not limited to finances but also involves taking care of health. Reducing medical costs not only helps lower expenses but also enhances the quality of life. It is crucial to take an interest in personal finance from a young age, as this has become more than just an option today. It is essential to consider the money invested in these preparations not as an unnecessary expense, but as an investment in your well-being. Another common regret is not daring to challenge oneself and not traveling as much as one would have liked. There are experiences that could only have been lived at that moment, and many regret putting them off and losing them. Although at the time, there was no time due to the responsibilities of raising children and working, now is the ideal time to dedicate oneself to travel. The advice from older people is that travel is not just a simple rest, but a key experience that enriches and gives purpose to life in retirement. Traveling benefits health, strengthens social relationships, and provides valuable memories for the future. One of the big regrets is not having kept a journal or recorded our journey. Upon reaching retirement, we may experience moments of emptiness, but looking back and organizing our experiences becomes a valuable time for the present. Making writing a habit from a young age is like filling a large book titled Life with Small Moments. It is not necessary to write daily, but simply capturing thoughts now and then and preserving moments in photos will become a valuable resource for the future. The 10th regret is not having maintained constant communication with the children. Talking to them is like nurturing a mature tree, reinforcing and deepening the bond. If this continuous communication is not cultivated, in old age, it can feel like the loss of a good friend. It is natural that, with the passage of time and the arrival of illness, we depend on our children, and having a close relationship with them becomes key to avoiding regrets in parenting. This bond will also provide comforting emotional stability in advanced adulthood. If a genuine connection has not been achieved, loneliness in old age will be more intense. Reflecting on the greatest regrets of people at the end of their lives, we observe that they almost never regret not achieving social goals or accumulating wealth. True regrets are usually related to things that, if given some attention, would have been easy to accomplish. What things do you feel you haven't done and regret? And, what are you doing to avoid those regrets in the future? Time continues to march on, and we all move toward the end of our lives. It is essential to ask ourselves if we are living according to what we truly desire or if we have let ourselves be carried away by others' expectations, leaving behind those who matter most. People near the end of their lives have nothing to hide. Their words carry the experience accumulated over the years and have significant power. Although books offer us many lessons, the expressions of those who have faced life's adversities resonate much more deeply. We often take our health for granted, but with time, we all face illness and, eventually, death. While physical pain can be tolerable, the emotional suffering caused by life's regrets cannot be healed by any doctor. That's why the advice of the elderly is so valuable. I hope today's story has been a small help in planning for a happy retirement. And I sincerely wish that all those who read this text live a long life, free of regrets. I hope this message provides some comfort to those who have walked the path tirelessly, and I want to share a text that might be of interest. The most meaningful words in life are here and now. I am a medical professor, 79 years old. I have worked as a psychiatrist for 50 years, attending to 150,000 patients and teaching future professionals. After my retirement, I lost vision in my left eye and live with 7 diseases, including diabetes, hypertension, gout, herniated discs, coronary artery stenosis, and gallstones. However, even though I can only see with one eye, I still admire the sun in the morning and the stars at night. Every time I rise, I feel the warmth of the sun and allow myself to experience joy, sadness, and love. I still have a heart that can perceive the suffering of others. I do not indulge in lamenting the world. Occasionally, I go for a walk with the aid of a cane, and although I can only see with one eye, I still admire the wonders around me. Even though walking has become more difficult due to the weakness in my legs, I feel fortunate to witness how the trees on the nearby mountains change color with each season. Life is lived now, in this very moment. At this moment, I am here, surrounded by those with whom I share my life, and I have come to understand that true happiness lies in savoring this moment, even if it's just once, smiling and sharing. Throughout my life, I have discovered that happiness is not found in distant places, but arises from within, through the release of endorphins. I must be content now for that happiness to manifest. It is not the memories of the past that bring us joy, but this very moment. Some people wonder how it is possible to maintain happiness constantly. However, it is important to free ourselves from that way of thinking. Those who are no longer with us would have wanted more time to live, and we, in this precious time, are experiencing the present. We must learn to generate hope even in moments of pain. Simply being alive is already a blessing, and the ability to share moments with others is something for which we should feel grateful. As we grow older, looking back at our lives, although there were difficult moments, we can say that, in the end, everything had its positive side because we have all lived moments full of light. Life seems to be measured by those moments that remain etched in memory. Only those who have faced adversities are capable of knowing what true happiness is. That's why what we live now is what truly matters. When I lost my wife, I realized I hadn't appreciated her company when I still had it. It was as if I were missing an essential tool at the table, and a deep emptiness began to fill me. We've all heard the expression, do it right while you can, but understanding its true meaning takes time. My father-in-law used to say, value what you have and accept it as it is, and you will find the key to happiness within yourself. Just as he said, happiness is not far away, but resides in our heart, here and now. Look at the sky, lift your gaze. Finally, I want to conclude by sharing the words of a wealthy old man as reflection. I hope that, by reading his regrets and gratitudes at the threshold of death, we can take a moment to reflect together. The old man said, friends, those who will read this letter, I imagine you are having a busy day, but no matter how busy you are, always remember to eat well. When I reached this point, I realized I hadn't used 70% of my expensive phone, that 70% of the functions of my expensive car were unnecessary, and that 70% of my luxurious house remained unused. 70% of the clothes and items I owned had no real use. Life is like a playing field. In the first part of life, we strive to achieve status, power, and money, convinced that obtaining them will guarantee our success. However, the second part was different. The cost of neglecting my health in the first part was the development of hypertension, diabetes, gout, and other diseases. At that stage, I followed the guidance of others, but now, in the second part, I must follow the advice of doctors. Today, I understand that if I don't enjoy what I achieved in the first part, what's the point? Along the way, I regret not having taken the time to rest. The moments when I ran without stopping, focusing only on the future, are now bittersweet memories. To all those reading this letter, I want to tell you, while you enjoy good health, don't waste your resting time, drink plenty of water, and, even when facing obstacles, learn to let them go. You will find that living with generosity and humility is not as difficult as it seems. Do not let pride trap you, even if you have wealth and power, learn to be content with what you have. Even if you have many responsibilities, keep moving forward, take a few more steps, and practice some exercise. In this world, there are many willing to guide you, but no one can relieve the suffering you feel. You may lose things and then find them, but a single life cannot be regained. When I am no longer here, my elegant residence will be occupied by someone else, and the keys to my luxury car will be in someone else's hands. Everything I gathered will only be a burden that I leave behind. Do not worry excessively during the early years of life and, instead, focus on taking care of yourself in the later years. To you who are reading this letter, I want to remind you that you have not yet reached the end. I, who have already passed the first part, now find myself in a hospital bed in the second. No matter how capable we are, we can do nothing if our health does not allow it. I want you to understand that the most important thing is knowing how to enjoy life, not accumulating material possessions. However, I am grateful to be able to write this letter to you. To all those living in a hurry, I wish that you take better care of yourselves, smile often, and fill your days with joy. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me.